Alright, welcome to the Apollo Lander. This is my Nova Galactic themed build, with the exception of your standard stuff like engines and weapons and grav drive and all that. Every piece of this is Nova except for 5 pieces. And they're going to stay that way. The idea behind this is a literal lander. You take the ship, which is the top section here, you drop off Habs to various planets. So you are flying this completed ship up top. It's even got the NASA cockpit. And it is taking Habs and connecting with these pillars to take them to different planets. So you're taking settlers, you're taking scientists, etc. We're thinking this is going to be very early on after Earth. So before the war, maybe before New Atlantis was even established. I don't remember in the lore if New Atlantis was the first major city, but this whole bottom section is its own hab. So you imagine a hab has to sit on something. If you can imagine those columns right there that hold up the hab, that's what the landing gear on. Because there's nothing I can do, and I have to connect it to the ship. That's why there's a 1x1 in the middle, and that becomes the observation deck for the hab once it's dropped off. Because the whole ship, including these 4 masts, takes off and leaves them here. So we're going to take a look at it and see what we can come up with. This is going to be the first Class B ship I have made. I figured that maybe they haven't progressed far enough to have the big Class C ships. So you can see here, plenty of fuel to get wherever they need with a 30 light year jump range. It has plenty of cargo. It's not a crazy amount, but it's not supposed to be. This ship takes this hab to where it's going, drops it off, and it comes right back home. But it has a fair amount. Very decent reactor size. The reactor actually looks just like the engines. No paint on this at all, because why would they spend money on paint? I mean, honestly, why would they spend money? I mean, other than the way that the modules come, why would they spend money on paint? This is not. This isn't a little mansion on wings, whatever you want to call it. This is all business. Big shield, but not the biggest, because we're talking Class B. And I have no Vanguard on this at all, because I don't know. Maybe it's a time period before Vanguard exists. Very decent weaponry. And there's a trick on this. I have 2 of the weapons mounted to the, quote, hab, just like you do in your outpost, where you mount your turrets to some of your hab modules. And that would stay with the hab, and then the ship itself would take off. So the ship has 6 weapons on it, 2 on each side here, 2 up front, and the hab has 2 weapons on it. And you know, that's pretty reasonable for a hab. You don't normally have an outpost with all 6 of them right away. You're usually sitting at, 3 or 4 of them. It has solar panels. I mean, I know they're radiators, but solar panels, there's 6 of them, to power the hab when you get there. I'm thinking these guys in the front the radiators are kind of like older versions of antenna. Similar to what they would actually have used on the Apollo missions. And yeah, it's nice, it's slick, it's small. It's not that small, it's 35 meters long. Just 1 ladder goes up, and I quite like it. So we're going to do a little walkthrough, and then I'll do the teardown video. And at the end, probably just do a speed test, because it's actually quite speedy for what it is. And then we will probably cut it there. I doubt I'm going to do a video on combat. I don't really see the need for this one. It has plenty of firepower. So you come into an airlock. Obviously, this would normally be closed. And that makes sense. That is the reason I have this exact landing bay on here, because I wanted an airlock just like you have at your outpost. Come in here to a living quarters, I think. 2x2.
Hey there.
We'll go
Glad
through all
to
the
see you
pieces
again.
once we get into the build. Everything on this ship is Nova Galactic. So plenty of beds, plenty of places for them to sleep, any places for them to hang
Hello,
out,
Captain.
to store things, to work out. It has an infirmary because, hey, we're dropping them off on some rando planet. Obviously not rando. They're going to be doing their research to make sure that it's not completely hostile. But they're going to need to take care of themselves.
I don't know about you, but a fella could do a lot
I
worse
really
than
should have
us.
turned T-Detect off. So you come into this side. That concludes the 2x2 when we come into a all-in-one, I believe. I paid
Great day
care
for some
not to
exploring,
put
huh?
windows where beds were. So that works out pretty well. We got an armory. Because, again, these guys are all alone. You never know what's going to happen out there in the wilds. And they have to take care of themselves completely. And then we've got a workshop. They've got to be able to fix anything and everything. It could be weeks, months, before they get any kind of resupply or help if they call for it. So they need to fix things. And in fact, if you go to POIs all over the place, planets, moons, doesn't matter how isolated they are, they have workbenches.
Do you need my help?
That all makes perfect sense. Layout is okay. I'm not 100% happy with it. I'm glad it only popped one ladder, which is exactly how I planned it. So this becomes their sky dome, or whatever you want to call it, once the ship takes off and leaves them here, so that they can come up and see their surroundings at a little bit more height. And then we come up into the ship proper, go straight into the engineering bay. Now this is, of course, older Nova Galactic, and they're all business. You know, it's not... I mean, it's almost military-like, but for civilians. They don't have a whole bunch of play spaces and lifting gear and all that stuff. It's all about business. Take the hab where it's going, drop the hab off, and come back and get the hab when you need to, or just go on to the next hab. Control station, perfect sense. Fits very well within the theme of what the ship is. And then you have the NASA cockpit. So there really isn't anything special about the NASA cockpit except that it says NASA on it. That's really about it. There's hi beeps. What's up, beeps? But it's functional, and you know, it does its job. It's got lots of cool buttons and doodads and whiz bangs to keep your interest. All right, I'll be back with you in a moment. We will do a teardown of this guy. All right, we are in the builder, and you can see this is how the dropped off hab would look of its own accord. There's space for other devices and solar panels and whatever you want, should you decide as the hab dwellers to place them on there. But it gives you more space to do things. The ship itself there's not much to it. It's just a blade with some decorative stuff on the top, because it doesn't need to be. It's all business. You know, this, and we're going with the concept that these guys here act as not only transport for this, but they're their own landing gear, I guess. It's space magic. Be quiet. All right, so we're going to start here. This is one of the 5 pieces that is not Nova Galactic. I said HopeTech. Nova Galactic, and I'm not willing to change it out. The Nova one goes vertical with a ladder, and that isn't remotely an airlock, and I'm not willing to give up having an actual airlock for this hab that we're creating here that this outpost that we're creating that would go on a random planet, it's got to have an airlock. Sure, they might be on a planet that has breathable air, but you never know. You could have a toxic rainstorm or something, and they need to separate themselves, and they need a space that's that can do so. You have these radiators on both sides. Everything pretty much else is going to be Nova. Again, communications. Just we're calling them communications devices. It kind of makes sense. They're kind of angled towards the sky. ... You have the radiators up top that act as the, quote, solar panels. This is what I meant by you have your... See, these are the automateds, so they would fire multiple directions, just like the turrets we have that you can place around your outpost can. And it sits right on top of a storeroom. You could always put it... anything else you wanted here. You could put a companionway if you chose to. We go into an all-in-one berth. This is a 2x2. This just gives us a little bit more volume right away. Before compartmentalizing everything, you get a big space. So you walk into a big space instead of walking into a confined space. It gives the hab more volume. It makes it feel more spacious than what it really is. Then you can come straight over here to the infirmary. Should anybody be hurt, they can come in, they can come straight over. You know, clean themselves off real quick here, get the dust off, come right in, go straight to the infirmary. And, of course, we've got some windows, which happen to be Nova. You're going to come back this way. We're going to go into a living quarters. This is one of the things that I think I could have done a little better. I think the living quarters should be the end. Well, maybe the workspace would be the least used. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You come into the Nova Galactic 2x1 living quarters. There's a door back here that goes to their armory, and another door back here that goes to their workshop. So it all flows well. You know, you got a door right there, you come straight and you go straight like that. So you don't have a weird maze of doors going through it, but at the same time, I'm not 100% happy with the flow this way to this, but it's really hard to choose. If I had to choose, I'd rather have it come straight through and then door that way, not have a door in this front. So you just have a straight passage, door, 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 not connect these two. Well, maybe still connect them, just because it is a hab and you don't want to have one congested hallway. And it is their landing gear. It's the type that also looks a little goofy if you change the style. Oh, it's not going to let me change the style. Never mind. I'm at my home base. It won't let me change style because I can't buy these at the home base. And then it's got just one big cargo bay. This guy is basically the whole cargo for the ship, with the exception of the cockpit. And the NASA ones, it is what it is. It's 260, and that's all you get. And it took up some space. Now you could, because this actually extends another 1x1 back, the ship does. I think that looks appropriate. But what you could do is you could put a 2x1 here, and then another, and take this, stick that over there, have two of those if you wanted to have some more storage and maybe a little bit of extra room of something. I don't know, you want to put a computer core back here or something to get to the 8 crew if you wanted to do that. And that would be just fine. And it's not really going to raise, you'll probably drop down to 91. I would be willing to bet you drop to 91. Here, let's find out. Oh, wow, you dropped way, way down. Okay, that's probably not the best idea ever. And then you come up. There's one singular ladder path that goes to the top. It goes through this companionway. It was that way on purpose. I wanted to make sure that I did have one that wasn't right behind the airlock. And it just happened to be in a corner that, for this particular 2x2, it has that angled... It's a weird corner to begin with, so I'm real happy with that. And I put windows all the way around it. So that worked out really well. Nothing special from the bottom. We just have 4 landing gear. Then you come over to the ship. Now, these are the other 4 pieces that are not Nova Galactic because Nova has no vertical anything. Just like nothing. And, well, how am I going to build it? What am I going to do? Put 4 of these, 1 in each corner? It looks stupid. So, I had to do something. Sue me. It's not 100% Nova Galactic. And then we start with the NASA cockpit. We come into a control station, and then we go back to an engineering bay. Now, these 2 configurations can be whatever you feel like. It doesn't really matter. This is 35 long, so you could do 2 3x3s and extend this ship a little bit more, make it a little more imposing over this guy. There's a lot of things you can do with it. We've got the little Nova wings. Put it on front. I couldn't really find anything that looked great. Another option that you have for Nova is that, and I just didn't think it looked good. I don't know. I don't really like it. And you don't have a whole heck of a lot of options. That doesn't look good at all. I mean, I don't even know what you would do with that. This just is weird. Yeah. We have 3 cockpits. Yay. You know, this looked okay, but I already have them elsewhere, and I'm like, repeating the structure is a little weird. These look stupid. Yeah. There isn't a lot of choice when you come to Nova for what you can put up here, and that, why am I even going to put that? So that's why I put these little wings. These are the middle section of those, so it works out quite well. This little cowling is the same as this cowling, but it's the middle of the 3 options. It's kind of weird that it comes off at an angle, but also it kind of works because that's your bracing structure to mount to the landing gear. So I'm like, all right, I'll run with it. And then these engines, I've been wanting to do a ship with these engines for a long time. They're not the best on maneuvering thrust. You could actually get to 100 very easily by changing engines, but I love the look. Just the profile of it, I don't know. It looks cool. That's just me. I think it looks really nice, so I ran with it. Then you got your cowlings in the back. I actually had them cowling this way, and I had just 2 engines, and I was going to put the other set of engines below, you know, standard fare, and I'm like, God damn it, I want to make something different. So, okay, it's not that much different, but it's a little bit different. Engines up front and engines in the back. Sue me. Grav drive is, I think this is the biggest for B. I don't remember 100%, but I think this is the biggest for B. This is not the biggest for B for the reactor, but if you look at it, it looks just like the engines. So I'm like, hey, yeah, that works for me. And it's round, so then the shield just happened to fit. This is the biggest, not the Vanguard. The Vanguard's the biggest. This is the biggest Class B that isn't Vanguard. So, as we were going with a no Vanguard build, I went with this. And it looks great. It fits there. It looks like it's supposed to be there. I like it. I dig it 100%. So, we went with 4 of the auto neutrons, Class B. 2 of them, again, are on the, quote, Habs section, and 2 of them are on the top here. And then I went with 4 of the 175 Helion beams. So these are your active firing weapons, and these are your passive firing weapons. The other 2 are here on the bottom. One thing you will notice, there is no secure storage. There is no multi-frequency or anything like that, and there is nothing from the Crimson Fleet. At the time period we're talking, did the Crimson Fleet even exist yet? And we're not smuggling anything. We're literally dropping off a hab and coming home. Obviously, if you're using this as like a daily flyer, you're going to want all those things. You got plenty of space to put it. You can put it anywhere you want. But the RP of this, I had none of those. And then this top is literally just for fluff, except for this piece right here and then the fuel. So had to have a docker, and then these pieces, this and this are actually the same thing. I will state this, I have to glitch this into the cockpit, and I will show you. It doesn't look that great if it's right there, right? It looks okay, but it doesn't look that great. So I'll show you again how you do the glitch. You bring it up and it's red. I'm going to hit Z to rotate it until it's back to the spot. I'm going to let go of my left mouse. It clicked and I'm going to hit escape. And now it's on there. And now that looks better. That looks more like a one-piece type of thing. Again, I don't like using glitches because I want to make sure I'm building all this stuff as vanilla, no mods, no glitches, no cheats, no hacks, so that anybody can build these, but I'm sorry, it just looks better that way. Sue me. So yeah, here's your completed ship, which I think looks fantastic for an unusual build. Something that is not standard fare that everybody builds, because we all build the same ships, let's be honest. It's hard not to when you have to have a cockpit that faces forward no matter where it goes. You have to have landing gear, and they have to be on the bottom. The landing bay has to be on the bottom, and it has to connect direct path to the cockpit. Your engines have to fire backwards. You know, there's so many things that have to be the way they are. It does limit our design choices. So I'm still working. I'm still trying to come up with that. Holy crap! What is that? You know, I'm still trying to come up with that, but it's hard. It's hard to get your brain to think about things that aren't the norm. Oh, let's let go of that. What did I just do? Yikes. Move that halfway across the board. That's because that doesn't have a snap point. That's what happened. Okay. Well then. Okay, let's put this over here. That is not correct. Damn it. I just mucked this whole thing up. Here, we can fix this. Pull that out. Pull this out. And pull this out because it's attached. And now nothing's attached to that top, so move this away. Put these where they go. Come on. Sometimes a pain when you go to grab these things, smaller pieces. Put the hab back, and now stick this in the middle. Make sure I got this right. Is that correct? No! Kill me. No. Man, I'm messing this whole thing up. See, this is what... Part of the reason that I do not edit out stuff like this is because I want to show that there's problems, man. Trying to do stuff like this, sometimes you end up with problems. I know there's going to be a few of you that are like, God, why don't you just edit all that out? Because I want it to be real. I want this to be a real video and not hyper edited. You can see even I have problems and I build every damn day. Right there. Yay, we figured it out. Alright, so that's what she looks like all completed. All back together. I don't know why I just didn't hit escape anyway. Alright, let's go up and have a little speed test. If there's something to fight, I'll fight it, but otherwise we'll just do a little speed test because it's zippy. It's not the fastest thing ever, but it sure isn't slow.
It is good to see you.
Ahoy, Captain!
There'll be timestamps where you can bypass all that crap that I was just talking anyway for those who don't like it all. Alright. Kind of like the way it looks when it takes off anyway.
Liftoff looks good. All systems nominal.
It's very interesting for sure. Those engines are cool. How they have that late glow to them. It's pretty cool.
Retro's firing. Orbit stabilized.
Alright. So I'm going to take a little bit, 2, 3. Alright, let's push her up. Let's see what we can do. Looks like about 218. Definitely not bad. Let's go to boost. I want to say it goes north of 800. 813 looks like, give or take. That is damn reasonable. Take 4 out of that. So if you were to have it kind of normal, like this would be your normal, you're going to be 145 speed, very, very reasonable in a ship that's does what? Oh, it's not going to let me see mobility here. What was the mobility? Like 94? Not terrible at all. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the ship.